Hello, everyone, and welcome to Padawan Unlimited, a Star Wars Unlimited trading card game podcast and YouTube channel. This is episode 67. I've actually counted it this time. We're 67 weeks, going strong. Thank you all for your support out there. If this is your first time listening, my name is Gil, and today I'm joined by one of my recurring co-hosts, Rob. And, 2 weeks and 2 months?
2 weeks, yeah.
Within a month, Tetra is a... or comeback special guest. Hello, Tetra from the Bothan Network is joining us today for a very important episode because we're going to talk about some of the big news that came out in the Swooniverse
earlier
this week. So it's going to be great to pick his brain and get his perspective, especially on that high level like competitive scene. And but before we get to that, we do segments here, and before we do segments, which is collection, meta, and just main topic, we're gonna do some logistics. So we had a raffle giveaways pretty much running the entire month. I think this is the last one we're gonna do. It is a special silver pack. So we pulled the raffle winners, and we had actually a lot of entries, so I was happy about this. The winner is Jason Levy. Congratulations, Jason Levy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. I'll get that shipped out as soon as I send you an email and you give me your mailing address. Anyone who fills out these raffles, don't worry, I don't like sell your information or anything. It's really just I get your email, I send you an email. I get your email address, send you an email, ask for your mailing address, and you usually get it within like 2 weeks. Because I'm fast like that, kind of. I don't know. Okay. And then the next piece of logistical news is Padawan Unlimited is gonna organize a tournament, an online tournament. Rob, you've been kind of putting your brain together with Corey on this, who's a co-signer today. I banished him to the Shadow Realm.
It's because he beat another McClunky player?
No. But I think after this one, he'll be back on my good graces after this week. But anyway, so you have a tournament, kind of been organizing it or planning it with Corey on the back end. So tell us more.
Yeah, so I guess this will be the first inaugural Padawan Unlimited Padawan format tournament. So this is something we've been kind of brainchilding, Corey and I, kind of like the Penny Dreadfuls format in Magic, if you're familiar with it. Basically, we're going to be using nothing but commons. So that means you build a 50 card deck with a 10 card sideboard of only common cards and common leaders. So no rare leaders, no rare bases. The idea here is that we're going to be opening up. This is this Patreon only, Gil, or are we doing the wider group?
Some details still need to be handed out, but it'll be mostly podcast. Like, I'm not going to advertise this in any other videos we do, so it's going to be podcast listeners get first dibs at the slots. We're not going to make it. It's not going to be like a 128 person tournament. It's a Padawan tournament, so probably 16 to 24 like participants, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So and then standard tournament rules at that point. We're going to do Swiss rounds until we get a top 4, and then we'll cut to the top 4 and do we'll pair up accordingly until we have a winner. The kind of interesting thing with this is that because we're going to be doing this over like Discord and online, we're going to require the use of Petronaki because you're allowed to sideboard in between. So that's best of 2.
Yeah, we'll talk about the logistics in the future. Just because we're still gaming some stuff out. Don't want to go to too many details, but we're also working on prize support. So depending on the size of the how many people participate, the prizing support will scale upwards as accordingly. That may or may not include silver pack. That may or may not include like just packs in general. Who knows? I have some boxes up there. Like we'll see. If not the sabers, sorry.
Not the sabers.
Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna do that in the near future. Just look forward to it. So we're gonna organize that. Rob and Corey, thank you for your hard work in the back end. But let's stay tuned for more news in the coming weeks. All right. So let's go into segments. Since Corey's not here, I'm gonna take over this for a second. But I don't know if you guys have been following the set 6 spoilers. I mean, I hope you are. I assume you are. But they're looking.
I know I am.
They're looking pretty good. I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of these
they
cards
are.
are looking really good, and I'm excited to collect them. Tetra, is there any, especially within the last week, have there been any cards that kind of like spoken to you, or do you think they're actually all trash?
No. I think they all have potential. I am with the most recent changes. I'm looking forward to playing with these cards and seeing what actually works. I'm very much a type of player that's like, yeah, a card may look good, but until I play it and try it out, I try not to make any judgments on how good a card is. Because even some cards that look bad eventually see play. Like I remember like Guerrilla Soldiers when it first got spoiled, people did not like that card, and then it all of a sudden started appearing in Quinlan. So I try
I
not
mean,
to make judgments.
that's a good point. That's some
Mhm.
sage advice from an experienced player. Like, don't judge it until you've tried it. Um, are there any like ones that you like actually kind of like, or it also works in the same way. You don't judge it positively until you kind of get the entire set out and tested it, played with it.
Honestly, it's hard right now to determine, for me anyway, just because of the changes that happened. Because I don't even know what I'm even gonna play.
That's fair.
But I look, I like the this Kadel Cornex. He's a 3 cost, 3/2 aggression heroic. When played, you can defeat all non-unique upgrades on a unit, and he has plot. So it's kind of cool if people are doing like experience types things.
Okay.
Luthen's Hallcraft, which is a 5 cost space unit.
Yeah,
That's a
that thing.
5/3. When defeated, you can disclose, which is reveal cards of aggression heroic, and you can make them discard 2 cards. I think that's pretty powerful. Like any discard effects, I think are very powerful in general in this game. So
Yeah, especially when you
Yep.
know drawing cards is already getting cards is already kind of hard, and having that hand advantages and stuff. So Rob, what about you? Is there any cards you're
Well,
like?
Luthen's Hallcraft is definitely one that jumped out at me as well. I do think Sonara San looks really interesting too. She's the one that oh, why am I blanking?
She's a 7
she's
cost cunning card.
yeah, she's the one that
Underworld
lets you ready resources. Yep.
legendary. Yeah, on attack though. So if you
Yeah.
if with each friendly unit, like it's a go wide strategy. Like with her, like
Yep.
if you go wide, legendary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and she's also not villainous or heroic if I remember correctly. So
No, she's just a plain vanilla.
she's just
yellow.
a plain
Yeah.
yellow. So you'll see. I think you may see her a lot because, particularly on a 7 flip, if you're going like with a small deck, like a weenie deck, and you've got a bunch, and you flip on 7, you can ready a bunch of resources and do some stuff with it. I think it could be really good.
Yeah. Is it just
Gil.
is it just me, or like has the art for this set, like non-prestige, just really set up, really like been improved? I just feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the art has been better. I don't know if you guys have an opinion on that, but it makes me actually want to get the cards. Like I actually want to get the hyperspaces of these cards, not just because I like hyperspace, but because you'll get the full like
Mhm.
picture.
honestly,
Right?
I've noticed since even last set, like it's
Yeah.
slowly getting better each set, each iteration. Like they either figured out which artists they wanted to go with, or gave better directions to the artists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the cards do look much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is going to be like Magic. When you look back on some of the early art, from Magic, and people are like, "Oh my god, that was hideous." But like people have like certain cards that they just love because they're either so bad or like they're so good in some ways. Like but like those early Magic. Those early Magic cards. There is some of that Phil Foglio stuff that like people still look back on and are like, man, like it was just on a common, but I loved that card. Or I'm trying to think of some of the hideous ones like Terror or something like that from the original sets.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really focus on collecting a full set for Jump to Lightspeed or Legends of the Force.
Mm.
But for this set, I actually might do it. Like I might try to collect a master set. Because even like you said, common cards here, like there's a card called Armor of Fortune, which is a 2-cost blue card. It's a plot card. So like, and it just gives your leader, it's an upgrade. it gives your leader +3 health, survivability for 2 costs. Not necessarily a good card, but the art, which is Grease Carvis, what's his name? Grief Carvis. I forget. The
Greek
guy.
Karga.
Yeah, Grief Carva. His art looks freaking amazing. Like it looks like an actual piece, like of a piece of art that I would probably want to hang. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I feel like the set's probably going to do pretty well in terms of collection.
I mean,
I don't know.
like card power level 2 also seems pretty intriguing. I'll say. There's a lot of, particularly because we're not at rotation yet, but we're getting close. So plot is effectively going to take the place of smuggle. So we're going to be looking at like how those cards start to play into the decks, and again it's why I think there's going to be there's going to be some good cards right now, and then post rotation I think we're going to have to revisit all 3 of these sets because we're going to take a look at some of this stuff, and there's going to be things that we're going to be looking at that are like, man, I love that card now.
Yeah, I mean, rotation is going to throw a wrench into everything because
Everything,
of the fact that the most popular leaders are from the first 3 sets anyway. So,
yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm playing Boba right now until he gets banned.
Out of the leaders so far, and I think there's 6 of them that have been revealed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think some of these are going to be pretty good replacements for the set 1 leaders. Like Luthen Rail is probably going to be really good. Like aggro, like rebel leader. It kind of does like a little bit of like Leia and not Leia. It does a little bit of extra damage, to really hammer it down. Which if anyone doesn't know, what he does is when a friendly unit is defeated while attacking, so you could just ram into things. You may exhaust the leader if you do deal 1 damage to a unit or a base. So you're throwing down units, just slamming it. Again, it's not completing an attack. It's if they die, right? Which is it's just damage to a base. So if they have overwhelm, they have all this stuff. And on the flip side, it's when a friendly unit is defeated while attacking, you deal 2 damage to a unit or a base, and you can't take him down. He's a 2/7. And takedown, unless they rotate it back in, it's not going to exist as like a card to like just defeat something. So right, like
he flips on 5, right?
Flips on 5.
Yeah, 7 toughness is very hard to get through.
Yeah,
right now. Like I think he fits in a lot of strategies because a lot of times you want to trade with units. Like, hey, I have a 3 power guy. I'm hitting to your guy that has 3 health left. I want to like try to trade in that way, or even I need to throw 2 guys into this. Like, I think he fits into a lot of those strategies because you want to try to keep the board clear, and he kind of helps that by allowing you to push damage while keeping the board clear.
Yeah, and so I think he, out of the 6 so far, or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's probably going to be like a target showcase. If you pull it and you want to make money, sell it immediately because that's going to be the highest value. Are they out of the other ones? I think there's Padme, Sly, Dedra, Satine, and Chancellor Palpatine. Do any of those leaders excite any of you guys?
They also spoiled Yularen today.
Oh yeah, Yularen
today.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
Just it's a villain Leia at this point.
Yeah.
If they keep printing more aggressive villain cards, like villain's always been more of a mid-rangey control style.
Mm-hmm.
There haven't been very many aggressive villain strategies, but if they try to go that way, because I see like Dedra is also kind of more aggressive in a way because of her costing like 4, so they could be a potential. And he doesn't have a restriction of his only restriction is 4 cost, right? I don't think his his action side is attack with a unit with Colonel Yularen, and then you may attack with another unit that costs less than it. So it's not even like a restriction of rebels.
Yeah, that's like way better. And with all the tokens that are out there now, like you'll always kind of you potentially could have something attack every time, which is really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Spy tokens.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I was thinking with Luthen as well, because you're going to be, if you're generating a lot of spy tokens, so you're throwing those things into units, and you can also get ping damage off of it.
Yeah. So I think in terms of collection, so far, at least handful, some of these leaders just seem on the surface. Yeah, I guess we can't judge until we have the cards. Seem pretty good. I think that I'm gonna want to. I know I'm gonna want to get some of these showcases for sure. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if the money dries up or not. Not in this economy.
Definitely.
All right. Right. All right. So that's good for collection. Let's move on to the. I was going to say tournament, but the meta segment, which will blend in with the main topic today, because it's all kind of talk. It's all going to kind of be the same thing, not the same thing, but they're all kind of interrelated, intertwined. So it'll be loosely like meta, and then going into main segment, which is really going to be centered around what happens now, right? Because of the big drop, a couple
Monday.
days ago. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah,
the emergency broadcast system that they try to slide in there. So Rob, tell us about start us off with what did the meta look like this past week?
Well, I mean, the meta was interesting this last week. I mean, it's been more the same, but the big news was what Monday, because it's now a whole new world. So for those of you who haven't heard, force throw is banned. They banned it on Monday. Woo! Yeah, I know a lot of people who are happy about
force
this.
Throw.
And I know how much Gil loved talking about, how much we all hated force throw, but we no longer have to talk about it because it's banned. Goodbye.
Thank you.
And that's going to be effective as of after this weekend. So any PQs that you're going to this weekend, it will still be live, and then after that, it is gone for good.
Or it's suspended. They don't actually have a.
Yeah.
FFG doesn't actually have a ban list. People keep saying banned, but me too. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I'm like, it's only suspended.
I mean, things would come off of ban list. It's semantics, really. It's their way of talking about it. But yes, it has been suspended, which I think is going to be very interesting. I know internally on the Discord server, they've already been a lot of people have already been talking about how basically this kind of kills Talzin, or Talzin Red at least, because she was so reliant on it. Obviously, Kylo Tarkentown Kylo 5 Tarkentown takes a hit with this, and
there was a competitive team that really made that deck.
Who were those guys? I don't know those guys.
I forgot which team that was.
Yeah, and then
must have been a small team.
Yeah, small team.
Too unique.
They were. Yeah, definitely didn't have a guy in the finals at all.
No.
Yeah, so. But there are other leaders that have taken a hit. There you go, Tetra.
For anyone who's just listening, obviously Tetra is on the Bothan Network, and he's wearing his swag today and just casually flying the colors.
Casually flash. So you got to flash the Padawans.
Yeah, I don't want to, because we haven't done anything significant in the competitive scene. So I'm just kind of scared to share this. I'm like, hey, listen to us lose. Anyway, so
that's our charm, Gil.
That's our charm. Yeah, casual tryhards. That's what we are trying to do. We're the casuals, and Texas the tryhards.
Losing, you just learned. Let's learn from us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. So with this huge change, Tetra, love your perspective on this, because you played Quinlan a lot, and I'm assuming you had force throw in that deck. So I don't know if this how does this news impact you and potentially other people who have been not reliant but have used this type of style of deck, for a while now.
So I'm kind of torn, because I'm fine with it getting banned, right, or suspended, because I know the negative impact the card brings, right? It's hard for newer players, and even we'll say mid-tier players, to really try to learn to play around that card, or how to play that card correctly, right? My level is I've learned how to play around it, right? You hold a 0 cost, you hold a 1 cost, maybe you just don't even bother with trying to hold the card, and you're just if you got it, you got it, right? But I'm fine with the negative aspects of it. It now suspended. You don't have to worry about that. I honestly feel that it doesn't really impact much. Yeah, decks like Quinlan get hurt. I honestly don't think it's going to impact Talzin as much because I think Talzin's been on the decline anyway.
Mm.
Um, like a lot of the times, Force Throw, aside from Quinlan, you always had like another type of way to deal with big threats, right? Like the blue red hero decks have
Yep.
Fell the Dragon, Rivals Fall, Takedown. Talzin's the same way. They have Force Lightning. Kylo, yeah, it's gonna lose out on the fact that it can't go Witch Force Throw. Maybe it now runs Daring Raid. I think that's like Quinlan in the same aspect would probably run more Daring Raids maybe. I think it does hurt Quinlan more because a lot of times you were relying on force throwing yourself to pitch your Han, your 7 cost to deal a ton of damage to something because you don't have access to like the Fell the Dragon without paying 6 for it, right? I think it hurts that, but I don't think it actually changes the overall meta, in my opinion, yet.
Really?
I think that Hantu Blue will still exist. Like, I think these
Yeah.
decks will still exist. Um, they won't do as many crazy things. I think other contenders start coming back in the format. Like, I think Han 1 now comes back in. I think now we have an even bigger, not necessarily issue, but instead of having like 13 decks that people could play, you now have 20 decks that people could play because they don't have to worry about force throw anymore. They don't have to worry about these discard strategies hitting them.
Yeah.
I think people will still try to find a way to adapt for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know force throw is going away, but we still have pillage. We still have some other discard strategies, and then as you mentioned for the new set, we've got Luthen's Hallcraft coming in. Do we think that discard still becomes or is still a viable strategy? Just maybe not right this second, as it moves into the next set, we start to see it back on the rise again.
I mean, discard's always going to be like maybe now Quinlan plays more Sparks, right? Like those hero decks that are yellow now just play Spark. That's kind of like, all right, what are you going to do to compensate for losing that card? You could just not play the deck. Like you could just say that, the deck's not good enough anymore to deal with certain strategies because you don't have force throw. But I can't foresee them being as good as it was being the be all end all for playing against certain strategies.
Yeah, I think I saw. I think what they said on the stream was that like 75% of what top eights or something like that was all aggression, and they expect that, and then 30% of that was like cunning, and they expect the aggression to go down because of the reduction of force throw. But even with 70 something percent, 80% or however many percent of aggression cards, decks being aggression, the meta, like you said, still had like 13 to something, a bajillion different types of decks at tournaments.
Yeah.
So, I think I think it was you who also said like you just don't feel like you have agency within the meta anymore. And I actually think it's gonna make like I think you're right, and maybe Rob, I don't know how you feel about this. Like, it's gonna be worse because now all the cards that were potentially suppressed are gonna be like, all right, let's go. You're gonna see like Han 1, Kira, like all the control decks that were maybe not succeeding, more aggro out there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say for Kira's, people have been playing Kira, but Kira's biggest issue is Han 2 Blue because of all the 4 power guys. Right? It wasn't the force throw that was keeping it out. It was the Kiadi Mundians and the Itinerant Warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And I don't think Han 2 goes away, right? Like, it just doesn't do anything like overly oppressive besides draw lots of cards with Kiadi Mundi, right? Like, now we just play a different card. I think that these decks are still going to keep thriving in some sort of way. I will agree that I don't think Talzin will see as much, just because I don't think people will want to play it. I think Quinlan stocks will go down for a while until somebody brews up some good Quinlan deck. I think Kylo is a little weird because if you look at tournament results, most of the players that have been doing well with Kylo are from the Bothan Network. A lot of non-Bothans are struggling to get good foothold. I mean, there are a few players like Josh Eberly from KTOD/Secret. He's been doing well with it. But I don't necessarily think it hoses those strategies as much. It might make their control matchups worse because they were relying on Force Show and Pillage. Now they only have Pillage.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of with you there, Tetra. Like I was also not like, while I do think Force Show was a problem, you learn to play around it, right? You know that, as you said, you build your strategies around it. Look, I think Kylo is still tough. Like, and I want to kind of talk about this because I think part of the reason that we're seeing so much aggression in particular is the prevalence of, it wasn't just Force Throw, it's Tarkin Town as well. Tarkin Town creating such a strong tempo problem for your opponent, right? Like, and that's one of the things that Kylo deck, the Kylo 5 Tarkin Town deck does so well. You drop MiGs, you discard something from your hand that you're gonna do anyway, you deal damage, you Tarkin Town whatever they played on turn 1. With the exception of like Gunji, not much survives that. And now your opponent's playing from behind, and that tempo swing is backbreaking. And it's one of the reasons that when we were initially talking about like speculating, they're obviously going to ban Force Throw, but Tarkin Town was also in the discussion there because I do think it provides, and I mean, I'm curious your thoughts on this. I do think it provides a very strong tempo play that doesn't really allow for much interaction, particularly on turn 1.
I mean, I would say if you really wanted to try to fully fix things, it would have been Force Throw, Tarkin Town, ECL, and Overwhelming Brawl. Those are like the 4 strongest.
And OB, yeah.
But like,
no, speaking my language.
But the problem is, so here's the problem, right? So let's say you cut out Tarkin Town. Now Cat isn't as good anymore. Obviously, Quinlan kind of goes away completely. Kylo goes away. There's a few other decks like Mace or Luke from JTL. Like, there's a few other decks that kind of just go away. They're not even thought about anymore, right? If you hit it, and then at that point, now Sabine might start coming back because there's more control. And then, all right, how do we fix Sabine potentially being overly dominant because you don't have these decks that were preying on Sabine? All right, so we have to ban ECL, and then you just kind of go into this pattern of like, all right, what next card? And that's the danger of going too crazy. Like, I appreciate FFG doing a little bit of like, all right, let's just work on one card at a time. Yeah, the last suspensions we had were 3 cards, and that all in a way made sense. Because I think Force Throw right now, it's kind of like, let's get rid of Force Throw, see how everything pans out, and then maybe tackle Tarkin Town in the future. I mean, we only have one more set with Tarkin Town and ECL and all these cards before they all go away.
Yeah, that was kind of the other thing I was thinking too. As you said, it's like we only are really like a set and a half, really, because we're like halfway through Legends of the Force, maybe a little bit more than halfway through Legends of the Force. But once we get through Secrets of Power and the next one comes up, that's it.
In other card games, I didn't know this was a potential option, but in other card games, sometimes they do like a limited number of cards per deck. Instead of just like straight up banning or suspending. I feel like we should do that a lot too in Star Wars Unlimited. Maybe as like maybe another couple sets, but like, instead of completely eliminating a card, only having like 1 copy allowed per deck seems like reasonable. What do you guys think about that?
I personally think the dangers of restricting cards. That's usually what they call it. Like,
is that what it is? Okay, restricting. Okay.
Yeah. So like, you can only run this one copy of this. Or the problem is that I think that's harder to track than just saying a card's suspended. Saying like, these 5 cards you can't play with. You can play 1 of those cards, 2 of those cards. Like, that makes it way too muddy. It's just get rid of the card or not. I like 1 copy of that card. I don't think is going to be like, or like reducing down to 1 copy of that card. You might as well just, suspend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think there's a potential of like kind of what One Piece does. They have these like tiers basically. So it's like there's column A and column B for certain cards. And so if you take a card from column A, you can't take a card from column B and vice versa. So they're not suspended, but you can't take these two together because the combination of the two of these together is overpowering.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't even know how you would. Sorry, I'll be honest. Kind of lost me there for a second. So let's not, because that's not like a Star Wars rule. That's I guess a One Piece thing. So like there's specific card. So in short, there's specific card combinations that are restricted. Is that what you're telling me? That how that works?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Because of columns like A and B. Like okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So like the example is the most recent example is I think there's like a Gear 5 Luffy that you cannot take Charlotte Linlin or Katakuri with. They're both the combination of the two of Katakuri and Charlotte Linlin and Luffy is just it breaks games basically. So you can take one or you can take the other, but you can't take both.
Okay, interesting. Oh man, that's too much brain power. I just like
the downside is that wouldn't even fix like it wouldn't fix like the force throw problem, right? Like what are you going to be like? Don't you can take force throw, you just can't take force units. I don't.
You can have force throw, you can have Kiadi Mundi. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, that's interesting. I guess it's not as linear. Star Wars. I mean, maybe I'm just spoiled and I think too highly of Star Wars, but I think it's really hard to balance this game without like really being methodical about it and thinking about it. Thinking through.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason that it's harder to do with Star Wars versus like something like One Piece or even Magic, right? Is the alternating activations. You're always giving your opponent a chance to react effectively when you play a card. Almost always giving your opponent a chance to react. So a lot of the counterplay can be done by proper play, right? Like by playing smartly. Where you have games like Magic or One Piece where you play all of your actions on your turn. So you do them all together. Your opponent really has a hard time interrupting them. Particularly in One Piece, there are very few cards that actually like interrupt actions. So they just do, okay, here's my God combo, and
like that just
you either have a solution or you don't.
Is this? Do I sound like a hater? But that just doesn't sound fun to me. Like, I'll be honest. I don't know. It's just like, bleh, like word vomit or like card vomit, the entire thing. Hopefully you're doing the combination you should be doing the combination right. You're really just learning, like literally practicing, like I need these 10 cards. I need to do this specific sequence. It just doesn't seem fun. But I mean, to each their own, I guess.
So it's different though, because you're each doing that, right? So it's like, they may have their combo, and the way that One Piece kind of mitigates this a little bit is that it's not like I'm doing 30 damage to a base, right? It's like every time I hit your life, you lose 1 life. Okay. It doesn't matter how much damage I do, you lose 1 life.
Before we become a One Piece podcast,
I know.
Before we go too deep into that, let's switch gears a little bit and think about what leaders do we think are really going to start rising in prominence over the next couple of months before the set rotates, or before the new set comes out? Because we still have the Denver sector qualifiers. We still have
Portland.
Sorry, I keep saying Denver because that's last.
That was last year or last season. Yeah.
Portland. We still have Portland. We still have Bilbao Baggins, Spain. Bilbao. I apologize. I don't mean no offense. I know it's Bilbao, Spain, which is hosting both. And then we have Germany, right, for an entire thing. That's a lot of major, and some PQs in between until literally November.
Well, and the Phillies sector.
Yeah, but that's limited.
Well, so Philly's limited, right?
Yeah. So I would love your guys' opinions on where we think the meta is good. I mean, I have mine, but like maybe let's start off like, what do you think is one deck that is really going to start shining now that or maybe none? Could be. What do you guys think?
I know my backpack's got jets.
Wait, what did you say?
I said my backpack's got jets because it's Boba the Fett.
Boba Fett Data Vault?
Yeah,
that's your boy.
That's my boy.
I hate that. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I hate that deck so much. Not that it's a bad deck. I just, come on, man, give me some other Boba. So Rob, we're not going to talk about.
I mean, we're not going to talk about it, but it's going to be there. Like it already was there. It's going to continue to be there.
Yeah. So how about you, Tetra? What do you think? Is there
I
any
think the main one is just Han 1, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of the times, Han 1's issue was the fact that there was too many decks with discard, and it gets punished by discard because of the fact that you're playing
Yep.
effectively extra cards from your hand to use as resource, right?
Yeah.
So
do you
if I flip early and I only have one card left in my hand, which is my 7 cost guy I was saving, and my opponent goes force throw and kills my Han and gets rid of my card, I guess I'm just not in the game anymore.
is there a particular color combination that you're excited about or think is going to do better than the others? Because Han 1 is pretty flexible,
Yeah, I think we kind of go back to some of like the green strategies. They were pretty popular near the end of set 4. I can't foresee without DJ. I don't see like the mono yellow really coming back, and I don't think there's really many cards that in the latest set that help boost it to come back. Red's interesting because you can do the force stuff without force throw, and you can still refill your hand. And you don't have to worry about your stuff getting discarded.
Mm-hmm.
But I think green's going to be kind of the more dominant. There's also potential for blue because you can resource villain cards, and then at the your turn you just discard them.
Yeah.
Because of Han's ability, and now you can have
now Anakin's live
turn early that gives -6/-6. So.
Yeah, that's gross.
You're gonna have a round like 6 resource -6 on the board, and then a 7 resource -3 or 6 with Luke, and you're just like discard, like you're just defeating units left and right. Interesting. Yeah,
well, you can do it. You can do it very early, right? Like, you can do it on your flip turn, which is a turn early because you can flip a turn early.
Yep.
Even though you'd usually want to be playing a 7, but it's fine. Anakin's practically a 7 in a way anyway.
He really is.
Like, his stats are just too good for a 6.
It's pretty baller. Yeah, sorry, Rob. I feel like you're going to say something.
Yeah, well, the green strategy, I think in particular, because I've been seeing, like Yoda is a beast. Honestly, like when you get there, and if you can get him now, you're getting him early. You're playing him. If you're playing him on force, obviously, and you're just getting a lot of really good utility out of him. Yeah. And then you could also potentially be at that point be throwing in ETH Koth, so now you're ramping even more, faster.
Just one quick, but I don't want to interrupt your train of thought. But for this new Yoda, it's an 8 cost green heroism card. That's like a 5/8 or something. When played, you may use the force and heal your base for 5, and then when you use the force, you do 2.
Is it 3 or is it 5?
I think it's 5. You heal 5.
Oh, is it 5?
Yeah, it's a lot. And then on top of that, once you use the force, you can trigger another ability that allows you to do 2 times the amount of damage 2 times the amount of units you have on the board as damage to something else. Yeah. Right.
So when you played that what do you call it? That U-wing reinforcement the turn before, and then you drop Yoda the next turn.
He's healing and then slamming something for 8. So it's like an Avenger. It's like
he's danger to that is like if you're playing U-wing, you have 8 drops are rough because you can't hit them off U-wing. So you need to have it in your hand. But I think like Han 2 Red now becomes a little bit better in some aspect. Because it didn't have to worry about its big stuff getting forced down, so now it just plays more big stuff, right?
Han 2 Red, you said?
But Han 2 Green. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Han 2 Green.
Oh, I was like,
that was.
I was like, what kind of spicy Bothan Network take is this? What are you guys working on that mirroring Han 2 Red work?
Okay. Yeah, no, I've played against that Han 2 Red, or sorry, Han 2 Green, and particularly you've got not only Yoda, but you've also got Home 1. Like, there's just so many things in there that are just it hurts so bad, and I'm curious to see if like Han 1 with green has some of that similar juice because of you're ramping faster comparatively. So now it's like now you're getting all that stuff that you were doing without the damage on it and a little bit earlier at the cost of cards.
Yeah, but you might also see like the Han 1 green like pilot strategies, right? You have a new A-wing in the N1 Starfighter. So now you have, more turn 1 plays that you don't have to play a resource to put
Oh,
out, right?
oh God, I forgot about I forgot about all the
Yeah.
Falcons. I tried to forget
Yeah,
about all the
you have
Falcons.
so many like good cards in general.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's a few good cards in the set that kind of help that out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Are there
truthfully.
are there any kind of like outside of the spectrum leaders, maybe tier 2 or tier 3 leaders that you think are gonna see some more play? Like, for example, I think that like something as simple as Kazuda is gonna like start to really see a little bit more play, because like aggro, you're gonna, if without Forso, in my opinion, I think that some people, like the control players out there, like those hard control players, now that they don't have to like worry about cards being destroyed out of their hand like as much, because you're getting
Mhm.
three, like you're gonna see more like palps out there, like a lot more palps. And the only way to beat them is like aggro, and I feel like hard, fast aggro, and I just feel like something like Kazuda is gonna come out of the. You're gonna see a lot more play for that over the next couple months. I don't know. I could be off the base, but that's I always feel like when darkness rises, right, light comes to like face it or whatever. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean Kazuda's been in, a few top eights here and there, I believe. And it's still been around. It definitely gets slightly better because people are going to start trying to strategies that were being prevented from force throw. Um, I think you're going to start seeing, weird decks like I think like people were talking about Obi-Wan coming
Mhm.
more, prevalent.
The Force of the Legend of the Force
Um,
one, not
yeah,
Boba.
I've also seen uh the older one, the blue one,
Blue
go for
Obi.
more of a like a blue yellow hero. Like some people are talking about blue yellow hero strategies. Yeah.
I don't know how that
Uh,
works, blue yellow. I mean, because the blue green shell is just baseline decent, right? Like
yeah.
it might hard lose to like a palp yellow, but like overall it's beating a lot of other decks and can flex up and down. I don't, maybe I'm missing something with the old like blue
Well,
yellow heroism.
blue yellow heroism has access to like Kira and
Mhm.
regional governor, so now you can just lock out your opponent. You can still play discard like Spark and Ahsoka. Like you're definitely leaning heavily into the yellow
The
for that
discard
aspect,
strategy.
but then you have like blue for Felder Dragons and takedowns, and you're into this weird hybrid control mid-range deck that you're punishing your opponent for whatever they play and for their hit.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
if you use Obi-Wan, you now have a Sentinel unit that can, heal.
Yeah,
So
I will say I played Obi-Wan from set 2 extensively.
Mhm.
Well, set 3.
3. Yes, that's 3.
Sorry, I said X set 2. Ray from set 2, Obi-Wan from set 3, extensively, and that healing of the ping feels so good.
yeah.
Oh, you're gonna hurt me, Cad? Nope.
Don't
Sorry.
Like
care.
I think CAD goes up, right? CAD stocks go up now because Quinlan stocks go down.
Yeah,
That's going to
because
be the
like
strategy.
Is the Cad
yeah,
the Cad, like, was it the Cad weenie deck? You think that one particularly, or just a Cad in general?
Um, I've heard mixed. Because the CAD one drop deck was more targeted to fight against Quinlan in a way originally. And just be like obviously more aggressive. Whereas if Quinlan goes down, now we can be more of like a normal CAD deck and not have to
Mhm.
worry about it. But I think the CAD one drop has some legs into some of the control decks more so than it did before.
So, Rob, please convert from Boba to Cad. Thank you. Please.
Look, I
He's
gotta
a
be the
bounty hunter.
filthy fat shell.
Boba's still going to be good. I mean,
He's still gonna be very good.
I don't think Boba stocks go down. It's just it
No,
still remains.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna be there. And we were talking about it a little bit last week, Tetra, but I think the new set gives him a couple new tools too that he gets pretty good in the next set. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's like a
there was some like lull in the middle of his deck, like 3 to 4, and he just got some new tools that go right in there. So it should be interesting.
we're running out of time, but I'm going to leave with one quick question for sector qualifiers, the ones coming up in Portland, not Denver.
Portland.
Bold predictions. What do we think are going to be the winning? What do you think is the winning deck, or what do you think the winning deck is going to be for the Portland sector qualifier in a couple weeks? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about that, while I slow roll and make my decision on what I think that's going to be. I think that I think it's going to be Sabine.
You always say it's Sabine.
I always say it's Sabine. You gotta roll with the punches. Stats don't lie. I mean, Sabine ECL just wins things randomly, especially if they can dodge the right opponents. Even FFG advocated that or noted that at the end of when bans happen, people kind of go to their comfort player or their comfort decks, which is like Sabine ECL. So you might see a short rise while the meta is figuring itself out. And I think that there's going to be a lot of players that do it, especially if my thoughts and the fact that you'll see a lot more palps and stuff play. I think it's going to happen. If not, maybe at least top 8, but I think it might take it all. So I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but let's go around the horn. Rob, what do you think is going to take the first sector qualifier set 1?
And the first sector is the one in Bilbao, right?
No, that's regional. That's
Portland.
Regional. Portland is the sector.
Portland's the first one.
Yeah.
So it's America.
America.
I don't know. My gut wants to say Boba, right? Because it's been in the meta. It hasn't changed much, and so the players that were playing it will be continuing to play it. They're not having to. They're having to adjust a little bit, but now one of the things that they were scared of is out of the meta. You're worried about your top end getting thrown, or even your 6 costs getting thrown and kind of wreaking havoc on you. Now you don't have to worry about it. You may have to get it discarded. So, but it's still there. You're not killing something in addition. So I think that could be one. I do think, not to steal, Tetra's discussion point from earlier, but I do think Han 1 green is gonna be there. It's gonna come back. I mean, Han 1 is just, as much discard in the meta. Han 1 can make a comeback and be powerful.
Last but not least, I feel like Rob stole your thunder there.
No. So I think it's going to be a madhouse, honestly.
Really?
And it may sound like a way of a cop-out, but it's going to be a deck piloted by a Bothan.
Yeah!
Love it. Love it.
You know what? I'm going to name the title of this podcast, Bothan is going to take sectors, and we'll just see and here's the proof. And here's the proof. Just clip this. Sorry. Hey, you know what though? I mean, at the end of the day, y'all perform.
Y'all are crushing it. So yeah,
y'all crush it. So, I no doubt. So it's gonna be a pilot. It's gonna be piloted by Bothan. I love it. Okay.
Absolutely.
By the way, are you going to Portland or
no? I could only for the remainder of the year I can only make 2 trips, which is going to be Philly, which is 45 minutes from my house, and the Bothan Invitational in November.
Seattle, which by the way, if you have not heard about this and if you're a listener and you haven't heard about Seattle, it is the largest. It was at the time the largest ever tournament for Star Wars Unlimited. They did a 3v3 tournament with each other. The first time that's happened. That was super cool, where people had different teams, had rules, and they had all types of stuff, which is really cool. And then they had a 1K or a 6K right after for 2 days straight.
Yep. So the way it's working is we have a 3v3 tournament, and then we have 2 separate pools of players, pool A, pool B. The top 8 of each pool goes into a top 16 to win, I think it's 6K. And then on the same time that top 16 is running, we have like another 2K running.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
And I think last year it was actually run pretty smoothly. I would say it went really well, considering it's a Bothan Network sponsored event. You know, you're not getting necessarily support from FFG in that sense. So kudos to, you know, Frank and the Bothan Network crew for organizing and setting that up. I thought it was a huge success last year, and now that you kind of worked the kinks out, I'm sure it's gonna be even better this year. There was swag too. There was swag that came out of that
there's
tournament.
more, yeah. There's also, I think, more spots available for players as well. I think we've expanded the number of players that can sign.
Yeah, if you can sign up, sign up, because then you'll get, at least this year we got some early emails like notifying us of like kind of stuff, which is like, it's nice to get a heads up, especially as if you're a competitive player, of like, oh, I can actually get a ticket or a list or whatever. So anyway, if I get details of that in the future, I'm definitely gonna start advertising for that. That's a really cool thing, especially if you're just watching it on stream. And then also like the clips that you guys have is pretty cool as well. I know Ian had a couple of those. Like, hey, this is, you know, Geek Clown, like pizza. So really excited. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, major tournament.
I mean, I get more details. Where I know there's a few things that are being worked out. So I'm sure it'll be a bigger announcement within the weeks to come on the For the Network YouTube.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool.
And with that, Tetra, thank you again for joining us today. It's, as always, awesome to have you in this conversation. Love picking your brain. Love your insights. It's very helpful, especially for all the newer players out there.
Awesome being here.
And new people. Yeah, thank you. Rob, brother, power to you for playing Boba. I hate it, but it's okay. Move the CAD vein, please. Thank you. And Corey, since you're out there, stay out there. I don't want to hear from you for another week. No, I was kidding. But all right. Anyway, everyone who's listening, again, thank you for your support. Really appreciate you. Until next time, may the force be with you.